say the decade. I know it's a little bit of spoilers and jumping ahead, but move over. She's all that. I can't remember all the crappy movies you like.
What a random. That's not even a crappy movie. I mean, for 90s standards, it's pretty on par with
She's all that
movie.
I was thinking of the stupid cheerleading movie. What's that thing
Bring
called?
It On. And
Bring It On.
That's an amazing movie. Oh my god.
I'm sure it is. Yeah.
It has a better plot than what we're going to talk about here. Yes. Welcome everyone. We are talking about Morbius today.
And we're going to be talking about spoilers.
Yes. And we will. Do you have a spoilers little banner we can throw up there?
I sure do. Bingo.
Yeah, bingo. Because even now, and I had to make sure we changed the title. It's not was it really that bad, but I changed it to is it really that bad? Because technically this movie is still out in theaters.
Technically.
Hey Tavon. So
what's up, Tavon?
We wanted to kind of change it up because it is still in the theaters, even though we tried to look it up and it was very hard to find in theaters starting today.
Yeah. But we managed to sneak into a theater and watch it. I am drinking Pilsen Callao. It's from Peru. What are you drinking, Amanda?
Country Boy Survive their delicious Pilsner. Thank you, Nocturne. It is a cheerocracy.
Why do I remember? Okay. What's up, Phil Owens? How are you doing, buddy? Andrew's here. I had 3 drams of whiskey. 3 drams of whiskey while working.
While working.
Now I'm down to raspberry tea. Boring. Leo's here. What is up?
No, Leo. We have 2 hours.
That was the end of the video.
Yeah, we have 2 hours to talk about Morbius.
Come on, dude.
Yeah, we also will do a recap of Moon Knight episode 4 if you want to stick around for that. Because obviously we've been doing weekly recaps, but we did have to just put this in here. So we figured we'd do a double special 2 episodes in one kind of thing.
It wasn't somebody earlier liked the movie.
Yeah, when we did was it Thor Love and Thunder? Thank you, you guys jumped in on that earlier this week and saw our random live for the Thor Love and Thunder teaser trailer. That was awesome. We're going to try to do more of those, since I work from home now and Omar works from home now.
What's up, London?
If time permits, which it usually does now, then we could do more of those random teaser trailer reviews that occur.
Yeah, those are fun. I like those. And I like the breakdowns and everybody coming together and just talking about, what comic book ideas people could be taking for their movies and not paying the creators. But that's another story. You sacrifice your time and eyes for our enjoyment. So thank you. You're welcome. Amanda, it's been a while since your last update. Do you have any news on how brief? I forgot. Wow, James has a good memory. James is doing. Did she ever find her crystal loving dude? Wow.
Not yet.
James. She's in Peru. She might. Or she might
she's back. Yeah, she's back home with my family and got a new job, figuring out her next steps in her life and still into her breath work. So.
And crystals?
I guess, yeah.
What's up, the transcendent Travis? I'm personally not a huge Jared Leto fan. I think I've never been really disappointed in himself. Like, he just chooses these really, well, I guess, like
you watched We Crash too, because I did. I don't know. There's a thing we could talk about after we talk about this about method acting, and sometimes it just gets to a point where people are a little high on themselves, I think.
I mean, he's no Daniel Day-Lewis, but I don't think there's anything wrong with method acting. But let's go ahead and let's talk about the movie and then see what everybody else thinks.
Right. Okay. Let me get my.
I do think the Joker. His Joker was bad.
Whatever their take on it. All right. So.
Take a deep breath. Thank you, Fatty. You were right. I will flex my knowledge of how all of this is related to the comic. Which I don't know.
Is there a connection to Blade?
I think they spelled Morbius right.
Well, I don't know, but we'll talk about that. So let's talk about Morbius. It's only been out in theaters for 21 days. So usually when we do a movie this new, it's a review and not was it really that bad? But given that the movie has only been out for 21 days and it's already dropped out of the top 5, which even for, your lower grade, like Marvel movies and stuff that don't do as well, they don't drop out that quickly. So I think it's fair game that we kind of take this approach a little bit differently than a typical review. So just for the record, just so you guys can get a background of Morbius's box office to date, it has so far made $66 million domestically, which when you think about 3 weeks, you think your first week, he probably made about 30-40 million. So then they had 2 more weeks and they made literally half of that, if not less than half.
Is that considered a bomb though these days? How much did it cost to make? I guess it all really depends on that.
It didn't cost that much to make. It cost less than Venom.
The CG showed that to me. Like it proved.
Yeah, it cost less than Venom. I think Venom was over 100 million. This only cost about 75. So I would have to say they've made their money back to consider that a success. But when you look at the critical success, I don't know if it's to say the same, because I think even critically, while Venom, has its detractors like Omar, it still critically was a fan favorite enough to bring back Venom 2, which also did really well on the box office during a pandemic. So interesting to note there. Internationally made about 81 million to date. Worldwide, you're looking at 147 million box office to date right now as we speak.
Wow, people really like PG-13 vampires, huh?
If they were, you say that, but the Twilight box office numbers, we could go look at those.
I forgot about those. Are those
are PG-13 vampires too?
Then again, I don't think this guy considers himself a vampire, even though it's in the title, The Living Vampire. So, Dr. Michael Morbius. Tell us a little bit about him, Amanda. What is the premise of the story, so that we can break it down?
Okay, so the premise of the story is basically that Michael Morbius is a gentleman who from birth has had some type of a blood disorder where he has to rely on blood transfusions regularly just to survive. It leaves him very weak. As a child, he becomes friends with a young man named Milo that comes to his institution where he is staying as a young child. And we've come to find out that both Milo and Michael are very brilliant children. And there is a doctor by the name of Dr. Emil Nicholas, played by Jared Harris, who kind of takes these 2 boys under his wing, so to speak, and even mentions to Michael that he should go to a school for the gifted.
What, dude? I know it was one time I was like, no way, what?
I don't know if anyone watched this and caught that and thought they're really not trying to introduce the X-Men and Morbius, are they? I don't think so.
I think I tell you what, the mouse was like halfway in, and then the mouse decided to pull out, because this movie and the edits, it feels like this was made for TV.
It probably be exactly. They had to cut it for commercial.
Really weird. We'll get to that here in a little bit, but
yes. And the story is the movie's directed by Daniel Espinosa. And fun fact, he directed that movie Life that came out. That a lot of people joked or had rumored and theorized was
actually the Venom.
Yes. So interesting fact there. And then the writers are both Matt Sazama and Burke Sharpless. And they literally have written the same exact things. They have both written, so they must write together, Gods of Egypt, which is not a critically acclaimed film, Power Rangers 2017, The Last Witch Hunter from 2015, and they're both on as the main writing credits for Madam Web, starring Dakota Johnson, that's coming out later next year or the year after, I believe. So those are the writers for this particular film. So in the film, we actually see that, Michael grows up to be quite a famous scientist, and he wins some award from the King of Sweden. Wonderful. And we also know that he goes on some type of expedition to get a bunch of bats. And come to find out,
Costa Rica, which you always go to, like a Latin American country to get some weird crap to bring back to America.
Yeah, that's always what happens. Yeah.
What's up, Bibsy? Carry on.
Oh, you're fine. And so, so he's talking to his colleague, who's Martine Bancroft, played by Adrina Arjona, I think is how to pronounce her name. Mm-hmm. And she they're talking about what his new technique is that he thinks is going to help cure the type of blood illness that he has. And it's kind of a very experimental, something that wouldn't be approved in the United States. They'd have to go offshore, do it on a boat in the middle of international waters, even to do this whole thing. And of course, she's like, yeah, that sounds like it's a safe bet. So of course, then he goes to visit his old friend, Milo, who apparently this Dr. Emil Nicholas is working for or still helping because he also has a blood issue. Yeah, I couldn't find the other video of him dancing, so
so weird.
Played by Matt Smith as an adult, who we all know is from Doctor Who, and will be, of course, a Targaryen in the upcoming Game of Thrones prequel.
I forgot that was still happening.
Yeah, that's still happening. Yeah, they have trailers and everything. So he tells him about this and says, if it works, I want you to, help me out, or I think you could even try it. So Michael goes to the international waters with Martine. She injects his skinny body with this bat blood.
It's like a mixture of bat and human blood and stuff. He seems like a really smart guy. Like he's a smart guy. He's won all kinds of awards, so he knows what to do with blood. So sure, inject it to the back, and I'm sure there's not going to be any side effects. After all, we saw the mouse die and come back to life. What could possibly go wrong?
And he did fix his friend's machine with a ballpoint pen. So mechanics automatically transfers to biology, and there we go.
People are just naturally smart. I can look at a printer and say, hey, I can make a blood machine out of that. Just like Michael Morbius.
Yes, like Michael Morbius. So, anyways, of course, she injects the stuff in him, and it backfires, to put it lightly. And then we get kind of our horror sequences here on the boat. Some of the guys on the boat go to check on him for some reason. I'm not quite sure why. And, of course, Martine's looking for him because he's disappeared from his bed. And then we get the sequences of him basically draining everyone on the boat of their blood.
Which the boat was in international waters. But this is funny. So they mentioned it's international waters. This is from Steven. And then later on, they mentioned the boat was off Long Island. I may have missed something about it. The waves, man. The waves are strong.
Yeah, it just brought it back. Someone survived long enough. Someone survived long enough to get it back, I guess. I thought everyone was dead except for Martine, who was knocked out.
And I thought her name was Martina at first, whenever Jared Leto said it. And I think somebody forgot to edit out her name. Because then later on, it was Martine, like the girl in the comic books.
In the comics, which is who I'm assuming, supposed to be. So, yes. So he does escape the boat, leaves Martine, I guess, for dead, in an essence, even though she's not. But, I mean, if no one found the boat, I don't know how it made its way back to Long Island. But it does. And, of course, we can't have a movie like this without a couple of cops. So we get Omar's favorite actor, Tyrese Gibson, playing Agent Stroud, and then everyone's...
He's not even my favorite character.
Everyone's eighth favorite Daily Show anchor or special reporter, Al Madrigal, come in playing Agent Rodriguez. And so they come in to investigate it. And it's funny how Rodriguez automatically, he might have automatically jumps right to vampire. Like that's like wherever universe we're in, because let's face it,
we have MCU. Just call it what it is. Is the MCU?
I don't know, but it's not a small jump to go to vampire in this universe, apparently, which is, of course, what Rodriguez immediately jumps to. So now we have these two agents on his trail, and he goes back to his lab, and then we have a weird voiceover discussion of his powers, and he's kind of playing around with his powers, talking about them to the recorder, like as he's making notes about all the different things he could do. And there's this one scene where he kind of like jumps and hangs from something in the lab that for me was very reminiscent of the Amazing Spider-Man sequence when he was figuring out his powers, except minus the cool Coldplay song in the background. So
did you say cool?
Cool Coldplay song, yeah. Or no, it was Philip. I'm sorry, it was not Coldplay. It was Philip. Was it? No, it was Kingdom Come. I'm right. It was. Yeah, it was not Philip.
Michael Pena is the actor I would choose to play me in a movie because he's the only one that could carry my type of speaking, like the way.
Yes. Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah.
And smart. witty, and funny.
Madrigal is not. Yeah.
No.
For some reason, I thought it was Michael Pena until I saw him, and I was like, "Oh, I must have been thinking he's in another movie where he had to play."
All Latinos. I mean, there's only 2 Latinos that can play cops.
That's not true.
Name me another Latino.
Brad plays a good cop, except now he's been playing bad guys for a while, but he was a good cop guy. Look at Miss Congeniality. He was a good cop guy for a while.
Anyway. Yeah, look at Miss Congeniality.
Yeah, that's a great. Anyways, I know we have some cool gifts for you guys too. So basically, Michael is discovering his powers, and as he's doing that, his friend Milo comes to visit him, and he keeps telling him it was a mistake. I never should have done it. And of course, Milo must have stolen the stuff and injected him. We don't see any of that, but then we do see a very strange scene of a nurse.
Is that real? Michael Pena, Terrence Howard are doing a movie Selma Hayek. Is that a real thing? Are you serious? That's happening? Somebody said Salma. This is like Pee-wee's Playhouse.
I'm gonna change it over. There we go. Here's some. Nope. We're talking about Morbius.
Dude.
So Morbius zenning and becoming one with the bats.
And the score. I gotta give this. Okay, so I was listening to the score because my buddy Project Viking, who's here in the chat, talked about how they literally ripped off the score from like a Batman movie.
Batman Begins. Yeah, Batman Begins.
Oh my gosh, when the bats came out and then the score came,
they did.
He was right.
Yes, I saw some side-by-side videos of it early on, and they did rip it off. Like, I believe it's Batman Begins, or Dark Knight score. I'm sorry, not Dark Knight.
Well, I mean, it's Hans Zimmer, right? Like, so it's
it's Hans Zimmer. So a Hans Zimmer score.
And I think they totally. It's weird to see it done on purpose, right? I mean, you could say it's an homage, maybe, but I don't know. With this, I don't know with this movie. This felt really strange.
Yeah. So of course, Michael, goes to find Martine and check to make sure she's okay because she did survive. The cops asked her questions. She doesn't want to answer them. So of course she gets released from the hospital. And meanwhile, the cops go to talk to Michael, and they're being really suspicious, like they know he's a vampire, which is crazy because how would they know? But they already assume. So then you have this scene where he's trying to escape them, and he uses his vampire powers, which I'm not quite sure when they actually work or not, because it seems like when he's high on or he's full on blood, it seems to work better. But then sometimes he's still able to do it when he's not quite full on blood. I'm not quite sure how it all works. But they do manage to capture him and bring him in. And, of course, he denies everything. And then his attorney comes in, and we're all like, it's Matt Murdock. No, it's Matt Smith pretending to be a lawyer.
Another Matt.
Yeah, the other Matt. But he's Milo. And he reveals that he's taken the serum. He's the one that killed the nurse in the really cool scene where it looks like, I guess they have powers to turn off and on lights without...
Omar do agree with you. Like, that scene was very horror movie, and we were making fun of the fact that, like, okay,
why are these lights flickering?
Are their powers, besides being in smoky messes, also to interrupt electricity? Regardless, that was a pretty cool scene because it felt like a horror movie scene, and then it's like that's the only scene where they did anything like that.
Exactly. And so, of course, that's when he reveals to him that he has taken the serum. He is the one who killed the nurse. He's now one of him, and that he just needs to accept it. And he goes off. So Michael realizes he has to free himself from this captivity.
We both looked at each other and we were like,
"Yeah,
say that."
Wow.
You wouldn't like me when I'm hungry.
Why are they why do we need to steal this stuff from other Marvel characters that? It's
very tongue in cheek, right? Maybe.
I guess it's tongue in cheek, but why is the bigger question?
Also true.
So they have a scene where he's chasing after Milo. They end up in a subway station, and Milo's like, "Why are you trying to deny your powers? Why do you want to stop them? Look what we can do. We're now free. We can do whatever we want." And we have that whole villainous thing, and of course, he escapes, and Michael finds Martine, who seems completely like just not weirded out and super okay with the fact that he's a vampire. Like there's no transition period for her. She just accepts it and like is okay with everything. And they make a joke about him turning other people into vampires. He says he can't do that or something.
Oh, it's the daylight. Whenever
the daylight, yeah,
he jokes about getting burned, he's like, it's not the type of vampire.
Because it's not magic, it's science, and I don't understand, and it's okay.
I mean, sure, comic book science, whatever.
So he's like, he has to make this. Now he realized he has to make this serum to not only cure himself or kill himself, I guess, but also Milo. And as he's doing that, he also
you would have missed something bloody, Tapsy Logic, but they cut it down to PG-13, so there wasn't that much gore.
It was, yeah, for vampires, there was not that much blood. It was like watching Twilight, except less
dreamy,
romantic, romance and dreamy and longing and desire at all. So so he realizes he has to make some machines. He notices some kids who are trying to use counterfeit $100 bills at this little coffee shop that him and Martine are at. So he goes and follows them, and then we have that scene in the that was in the trailer where he says that he's Venom and he makes that face. I think I have it right here. Yeah. To that guy, and he says, "No, I'm just kidding. I'm Dr. Michael Morbius." Okay, well, only half of that part actually happened. He actually did say the Venom thing, but he didn't say, "I'm just kidding, man. I'm Dr. Michael Morbius. It's nice to meet you."
That would have given him more of a personality.
It would have, but there is no personality to be had in this movie. So he goes ahead and
personality.
Well, we do get a great villain dance scene because all
it's not great at all.
Dance, and so he steals some of the parts of their counterfeit machines that he can, and uses their lab so that he can make the serum that should, I guess, kill him and Milo. And meanwhile, Milo is back at his place. He's dressed himself all fancy. He's dancing like what's his name from
Fred Astaire?
No, the guy who dances in all his movies, Sam Rockwell. He
Michael
does Sam Rockwell dancing, and it just reminded me of Sam Rockwell in like Charlie's Angels, where he dances and stuff as the villain.
Wow, Charlie's Angels and Sam Rockwell. Whoa, yeah. Was it really that bad? Yes, it was.
And so then,
how did we not use that?
Oh, that would have been. Right? If I could have found a GIF of him actually dancing, I would have. Oh, there we go.
Oh man,
Zemo still does it better.
Parent Zemo.
He would have. He dominates. So, of course, then he gets all dressed up. He goes out and he meets a girl, and then a guy bumps into him, and you think he's going to, I guess, attack the guy. And maybe he does, but then he wants to go and talk to Martine. And then we have a really creepy scene, like where he's kind of talking to Martine, and he leaves, and then he's watching Martine and Michael Morbius together.
I don't understand that at all. Like,
yeah, because I guess, I don't know if he likes her. I don't know what the relationship is at this point.
It feels like this movie was supposed to be a lot longer.
Is this what they're talking about?
Daily Bugle.
That was the only, by the way, that was the only, well, in the movie itself, I guess, real Spider-Man connection that we get. In the movie. We're not talking
we didn't get the one from the trailer, right? Like there was a shot. Yeah, that shot from the trailer was not in the movie.
No, it was not at all.
The prison.
It's when he escapes prison, and even the director said that I never did that. That's something they put in the trailer, and I don't make the trailers, so he couldn't speak to that at all. So that's a Sony thing. There's also other things we can talk about that are in the trailer that are nowhere to be found in the movie itself as well, which is very interesting because like Marvel. Oh, thank you for the super chat. We got a super
chat from my buddy Mike Irish. I don't mean to offend anyone, and you never do, sir. But at least Morbius didn't feel the need to be political. Generic, yes, but entertaining in my opinion. I have thoughts about it after Amanda gives her wonderful synopsis. Is it okay? Never mind. I'll keep it quiet. I'll keep it quiet until go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Anyhow, so of course, there's news reports that are going on the TV when Milo gets back, and they're talking about a copycat killer. While they think that Michael's the suspect, there's someone else out there who's also doing the same thing, this vampire killer, whatever. And of course, Dr. Emil Nicholas, who I thought would have a bigger role because it's Jared Harris, a very famous actor, has been in a lot of stuff that we
he was in Chernobyl, and I loved him in Mad Men. Like the guy's a great actor.
Exactly. I mean, he's been in a lot of things that we enjoy. So he had I thought he would have a bigger role. So they must have cut a lot of his scenes out, and we'll talk about that as well. But he, of course, goes to Milo and what have you done? And Milo's like, you've always loved Michael more. And he's like, no, I love you. And I'm still confused if he's related to any of these people because I thought they were, but maybe not. Oh my goodness.
Hey, Nick. Thank you so much for the super chat, my guy. Shout out to the Uncanny Omar and the Amazing Amanda for all of the great shows that they bring. Hit that thumbs up.
Thank you, Nick.
To show some support. Likes are free and supports are priceless. Have a great weekend, Omar, Amanda, and fellow Near Mint Condition fans. Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
He is the owner of Dynamite.
Dynamite.
Yeah, we do. Awesome. I hope to be doing an overview of The Boys Omnibus when should be coming out soon.
That is very exciting.
Thank you, Nick.
Yes.
So,
all right, so let's wrap this up because I don't feel like there's much more to this whole.
I mean, there's not really a lot because they cut out a bunch of the movie. It feels like.
Yeah. So he attacks Nicholas or Dr. Emil Nicholas. Of course, Michael Morbius finds him, and yeah, right. I agree, James. And of course, Dr. Emil Nicholas dies. We end up having he does take Martine, and she's also on her deathbed as well, and of course. He drinks, or Morbius drinks from her to get his strength up so that they can have an epic battle scene, I guess, between the two of them. And he calls the bats, which then led me to the question, well, then can Milo control the bats? Who gets to control the bats? How the powers
I feel like the writers were
manifest in each individual person.
Writers were just stoned out of their mind. They're like, okay, what's another stupid power we can give Morbius? Maybe he can talk to bats. You know, Batman doesn't talk to bats. Maybe Morbius can yell and the bats will come. Dude, that's brilliant. Maybe that's what happened. I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know. So they have a big epic battle scene. He calls the bats, helps him save the day. He's able to pierce Milo with the cure, which essentially kills Milo. And then he kind of goes off, and you have a scene where the police guys are Tyrese and Al Madrigal come back in. They're looking down the hole, and of course we know the bats are going to come flying up, and of course Morbius is in between all the bats, and so he's able to escape from the log. Then we get an interesting shot of Martine alive. So then the question becomes, can he turn people into vampires? And that's pretty much the end of the movie. And then we get an interesting end credit, which again, I'm confused as to now they're confusing me on how the Doctor Strange spell worked, because all of a sudden,
because out of nowhere, that
guy shows up. No, out of nowhere, Adrian Toomes, from what I assume is Tom Holland's universe, is transported to another universe. We know it's not the same universe because no one knew who he was, why he was in an empty cell. So they were able to quickly free him. And then we get Morbius. Yeah, that's not even in the movie, actually. So another scene, not in the movie. That's his echolocation. If you're wondering what it looks like, that's how they.
We got you. We got you covered on Near Mint Condition.
Yes.
Look at that.
And that's. I didn't know. I had to look at that a couple times and figure out he was dodging a bullet. Anyway, so then I guess he must have somehow Toomes decides to call Morbius and bring him to a random location and transform a Spider-Man. And I'm assuming that Morbius knows about Spider-Man, though we have to this point I don't know.
How does he? Oh God, this is what
and
the hell? Okay,
I know he says we should team up. And honestly, you know, Michael Keaton never takes off that thing, so I think he phoned that performance in.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
To add that last minute. First of all, I'm still confused how he got the Vulture tech, because if this is in our universe, are there aliens in this universe? Does Thanos exist in this universe? I'm confused. Maybe it's just a Vulture costume made out of homegrown parts.
You know that Ultron. You've seen What If, so you know they can walk through different parallel universe.
But can he do that? But he's not Ultron.
Maybe he got the Infinity Gauntlet. Look, dude, all I know is at the end of Kraven the Hunter, the movie, It better be Dr. Michael Morbius going, hey, have you
Yeah,
heard of
we're making a
Spider-Man? we're collecting the new Sinister Six because apparently Sony needs to cash in on that.
They do.
Thought that was such a weird after credit for him.
It was strange
to get rid of Michael Keaton. Like, I mean, that is really Sony separating themselves from the MCU, right? That is their strong statement saying, we don't need you, right? We're going to take our character back. Now he's back in this amazing universe of the Morbius Venom universe, even if they are in the same universe. I don't know.
And I guess Madam Web, I'm still not quite sure what universe they're in.
I don't know. It is really strange. So we're going to take our character back and you guys have fun with your Avengers. Yes. You can have fun with your Thunderbolts or your Dark Avengers, wherever you're building next. We're going to build our Sinister Six, but we need Michael Keaton to do it to phone it in. Yeah.
And that's it. I mean,
I don't know what to think about that scene.
Well, what do you think about the movie? Let's talk about that.
What do I think about the movie?
Now, it is good to know this movie has had several release dates, not dissimilar to poor New Mutants. If you want to get a kind of a release date timeline, this movie was originally supposed to be released on July 10th, 2020. Obviously, COVID stepped that back. Okay. So then it was cycled through to open July 31st. Of course, that was not going to happen. And no. Is that true?
That is true. It was in the deleted scene on the DVD. But for some reason, when it came out on Blu-ray, they didn't restore it.
Okay.
So it was a deleted scene. It was supposed to be the ending of Blade 1. But because of rights, they couldn't get Morbius. So they decided to end it another way. What was it with the Tobarish, that part?
Yeah.
They're a good movie in all of this. An edit exists in your head where it works.
Well, there could be a good movie, and we could talk about what they could have done as far as plot and story is concerned to make it a better movie than.
I think the movie is a mess because, at least to me, because it feels like it was cut and it was forcibly like. It feels like the cuts that were made just did not make any sense. The violence was cut. It was toned down a lot. And there were just scenes that just felt weird. The edits are so strange. It felt like there were overlays that belonged in another part of the movie that they played. You start off with a flash forward, then you go back to a flashback, and then you go to present day, flash forward. Like it's a little bit of a mess, the jumping around that they do, and you're smart enough to figure it out, right? You know, kids. But the overlays and the narration they would use, it doesn't make any sense. The connections between characters, like the character of Milo showing up and stalking Michael and Martine, like makes no sense. Was he jealous of that relationship?
We don't know though.
What was the push? We got one scene, and I'm glad you pointed it out because I completely missed it, where he was just ruthless as a little kid, beating the crap out of other little kids. And he didn't know, when to pull his punches. He just kept beating the crap out of other kids because he had enough of getting picked on. So that immediately turns him into a villain. Like he gets the thing, like he leaves the cane with Michael. Michael knows, oh my God, he's taken the serum. He's turned into a living vampire like me. He's going to be evil. And they start fighting.
How could he determine he's going to be evil? I don't know. And he never gave you a real indication he was going to be.
And then they start fighting, right? Like they start fighting, and then there's this whole smoky fight scenes, and that was hard to follow too, because
it reminded me of the fight scenes, and I told this to Omar, of Harry Potter and Voldemort at the end of Deathly Hallows when they would come together and fight and fly around because it's all smoky around them. That's what it reminded me
of. If nothing else, Smith and Leto were entertaining. Like I said, I never had issues with Jared Leto. Like, I think his Joker was a mess. I don't think he's at fault here. I think he was just doing what he was hired to do. Play a broody scientist that has a blood disorder and be really smart. Like, so I was okay with his performance. The guy's I think he's a great actor. I know he's weird, and we can talk about that here in a little bit. But and Matt Smith always delivered.
I mean, he did. He relished the idea of being a villain.
It's just really weird because
wasn't a story
it's such a quick turn. You don't have a like what's the motive? What? And I guess, you know, some people don't need motives to become supervillains, but he's going around like killing cops, and I know you need to eat blood, synthetic blood, but even the violence is so weird. The way that it's edited, like when people are getting cut, you don't really see it; you just kind of hear it, and
yeah.
I mean, maybe it's gonna sound weird, but maybe leaving in some scenes would have made this movie flow better because it kind of jumps around. So the things that I did like about it, I, I, what did I like about it? Yeah, I like the opening was okay. I like that. I like the actors. Like what is his name again? Jared what?
Jared Harris.
Harris, the guy kills it and everything. And I was just sad to see him play kind of a minimal role. So yeah, acting was fine. The girl was good. The two detectives, whatever. I just love how they jumped around to the conclusion that it must be vampires running around the city, which I guess is
crazy. I mean,
I will tell you this. I remember telling you this feels like a movie I would show my daughters going, this is what superhero movies were like before the MCU
before Iron Man came out.
Things, right? Like it feels like a 90s movie, like a 90s superhero movie. Like but I felt the same way about Venom, and I don't know if I'm right about that because people freaking love Venom, and apparently me and you were the only ones that didn't really like it.
Venom there's enough character, and I've talked about, like, especially with Tom Hardy's performance,
symbiote,
he really gives them between him and the symbiote, or whatever you want to call it. That is really what makes Venom so appealing to a lot of people. I mean, Michelle Williams, but it's really that relationship between the two of them, right? That's what really drives it. You don't really get that in this, and I think that is because of the edits, because like Jared Harris's character, clearly there should have more to do with the plot than what he ends up having to do. You know, I think I remember us talking in Batman.
That's what Amanda and I said, but people really like that movie.
Yeah, people really liked it.
No, you know.
And I think it's like, and that's what someone said, it doesn't have to be like there was no political garbage. It could just be fun. That was Venom to me. Like there is no political agendas or anything in it. It's just fun movie that's not going to be Oscar worthy or anything like that, but it's a fun movie that has a great character at the center of it, or two, played by the same man in the one body. So that's why Venom works. With this one, there's just so much cut out, and then what they left in, I don't know why. Like why, nothing gets me more like annoyed where we have to use these detectives to create some sort of a problem for Morbius, when clearly the problem should be whatever's going on between him and Milo. But we don't explore the relationship enough in this film to even warrant why there would be an issue between him and Milo in the first place, and why Milo, the only scene we get that even indicates Milo would just go bad is in the opening, when in the flashback when he beats that kid up after.
Yeah, I said that earlier that you pointed that out.
That's the only indication we have that this guy would just go evil, which is not, to me, good enough indication.
There wasn't a flow. There wasn't a transition to that villain, right? And like I said, I don't need an explanation for every character. Some people are just born evil, but there has to be a drive sometimes, especially when you're watching a movie that's at an hour and 45 minutes and you only have pretty much two main characters, right? You have Milo and Otis, Milo and Morbius. I mean,
and it's all we needed. And the detectives are just that to me, I could have been fine without seeing the detectives at all and dealing with that whole story and having that added in there for extra effect. Because I think all those that does is, again, explaining plots and things like that to us by using the detectives, or explaining plot by using his voiceover recorder to talk about his powers, instead of just doing a cool montage to show us his powers a little bit more. So we talked about things being cut, and there's a number of things from early trailers, because this movie, like I said, was supposed to come out in July of 2020. Yeah. It had like at least 8 different dates. So we're talking about almost 2 years where they went and just edited the crap out of this thing. And for why, I don't know. There was like a scene in the trailer early on where he's apparently like lifting a sarcophagus of some kind in his lab. There is a scene where Tyrese is saying they found him on a container ship after being missing for 2 months, which is not what happens in the movie at all. He somehow makes it back to land, and the ship's just found in Long Island. And there is, what other things? There's a little bit where he's talking about his bat radar, and that's a little bit different in there. There's also one where apparently the Oscorp building makes an appearance in one of the trailers, but I don't know if I saw it. Did you see the Oscorp building in the actual movie, just like the Spider-Man posters?
No, and I mean, is this set in the same universe as Venom? Because we know Venom is set in a separate universe than the MCU, right? Because of that scene at the end of Venom 2, and then in Spider-Man No Way Home.
Yeah.
So do we know if the two, because I mean,
we don't know.
I don't know where they're, like, what kind of corner they're putting themselves in. Like,
yeah. And then we talked about Jared Harris. So if you'll remember in the trailers, there are actually some trailers with a scene where Jared Harris's Dr. Emil Nicholas is sitting on a bench talking to Michael Morbius, which is nowhere to be found. So clearly they decided his scenes were not worth the time, but Tyrese and Al's were much more worth the time, and cut him way down to where he's basically a useless character used to, we talked about fridging, like his death is what fuels Michael to go and kill Milo, right? As one of the deaths in, obviously, because Martine would be another one. But that's really what his character has been dwindled down to. He is not really a mentor, like, throughout the movie to either one. He's barely in it. So and then there's also, and I don't remember the mentioning of this, but apparently in one of the trailers, Tyrese Gibson has a cybernetic arm.
Shut up. That's not.
No,
what are you talking about?
Yeah, hold on. Let me put this. Yeah.
What?
Yes, there's. Yeah.
Are you sure that's not from Fast and the Furious?
No, because he said in 2020 in an interview, he said the arm has special effects and powers, and we never actually see the arm. All we see is a vague reference where he tells Michael that synthetic blood saved his arm after he suffered
in Afghanistan. Yeah.
Yeah. But we don't see anything like that. And then, of course, the big scene when Michael is in jail, he's taken off, and you see Adrian Toomes comes out, and he comments, says, "Hey, what's up, Doc?" That doesn't happen in the movie at all. You don't see to Adrian Toomes until the end credits when he shows up from the rift, from the multiverse spell. So never happens at all, but it was in the trailer. Again, I'm assuming to encourage us Spider-Man fans to go see the film. And then lots of dialogue that we didn't see. There's tons of dialogue that are in these trailers. If you go back and watch a lot of the old trailers, you'll notice there's a lot in the trailers have more than the actual movie does at the end of the day.
Could it be that they don't? Okay, obviously, probably they don't know yet, right? They don't know if they can get Tom Holland back. They don't know if they can get Andrew Garfield back. And I'm sure Tobey Maguire's kind of gone from this. But I wonder if they're waiting it out. They're waiting it out. If they can get Andrew Garfield back, then they can say, oh, this is set in the Andrew Garfield universe of Spider-Man. That's where these characters are.
Yeah. I mean, that could be it, but it still doesn't explain why they would cut the character of Dr. Emil Nicholas out, says so much they did, except for time. But even with what we've got, which is less than 2 hours, it's only 1 hour and 48 minutes. There's so much that could have been done with the film to make it more cohesive.
Venom, Morbius, Craven, Madame Web. Is Madame Web supposed to be a live action movie?
Well, yeah, Dakota Johnson and I forget the other actress.
Oh my gosh.
That was just set to play what we think might be Spider-Gwen or some version of that, maybe.
Huh. All right. Anybody that's seen this and my wonderful co-host, anything else you want to add before we give our final rating? Movie of the year.
I'm looking at all my.
What's up, Bunk Master B? I haven't confirmed anything. Man and Omar, what 3 non-Spider-Man Sony characters would be on your short list for a solo movie? Sony, like God of War, or we talking like like Spider-Verse type of characters?
Yeah.
I mean, I'd watch a Spider-Gwen movie. I'd watch a Solo movie. You said Solo. Solo's like a poor man's Punisher. Cardiac. There's so many characters I really enjoy from the Spider-Man world that I think are owned by Sony. No, you couldn't do that one. That one's
what?
I mean, they're doing Kraven the Hunter. They've done freaking Venom, and they did Morbius. Anybody's possible. I'd like to see a Hobgoblin. I'd like to see a Green Goblin. Like, I don't know. There's a lot, but honestly, top of the list has to be Black Cat. You gotta be
Alicia Hardy. Yeah.
I mean, you throw. Here's the thing with Black Cat. The only problem with Black Cat is there's no way that you can top like the special effects of Catwoman, though. It's just not gonna happen, right?
Is she also going to get bit by a bunch of cats and turn into a Catwoman?
Probably if the same screenwriters are writing it. What about you? Is there anybody in particular that you would like to see from like Spider-Man comics, like get a solo movie? Spider-Man, it's a funny one.
Spider-Man live, yeah. I mean, Black Cat's a good one.
Black Cat, man.
I mean, they're already doing Kraven, which I'm okay with. I want to see Kraven on the live action, anyways. Though I would like to see him against Spider-Man, but that's one.
Kraven is being played by that young guy that was
Aaron Taylor Johnson. Yeah.
In my head, I always thought Kraven was like a dude in his. I don't know. It's probably a different take on Kraven, right? Like I thought it was a dude like in his 50s.
Yeah, but I think it's like a young Kraven. But I guess if you're going
probably like a YouTuber.
No, I hope to God that's not.
They're gonna update his origin.
Oh, that'd be awful. No,
Black Cat was supposed to get a movie years ago. So was Silver Sable. Yep, I remember Silver Sable was rumored to be in a movie.
Yeah, Silk was supposed to get one, but they kind of are. Yeah, so Madam Web, I think, is the one that's maybe going to be important for us.
Tarantula, the enforcers in Gibbon movies. Yeah, there's so many characters I like from Spider-Man. Like that. Really, Sony's sitting on a gold mine. They just have to find the right person to lead them. Like with a vision, right? Not just last minute nonsense that they're writing and rewriting and cutting for. What's the point? All right. With that being said, everybody in the chat and my wonderful co-host, what would you give this movie out of 10? Ladies first.
I would give this a 4.5 out of 10.
4.5 out of 10.
Not a fan of this at all.
This is one of the worst ones I've seen. I think
he said the only thing worse was Hellboy.
It's not as bad as Hellboy. Hellboy was horrible.
Bad movie.
I mean, there were things I did like about it. It was short, so that was nice. I didn't have to.
You didn't answer that. What did you like about it? I liked Matt Smith.
I said the actors. I didn't have a problem with the casting at all, except for the 2 detectives. But whatever, they served their purpose.
Again, they didn't have to be in the film at all. I'm just saying it could have been all about them too, and I would have been happy with the struggle between these two brothers, if you would.
I gave Catwoman. I think Catwoman is probably my worst, like the biggest, like lowest rating I've ever given a movie on this.
And yet, I
like the lighting in Catwoman.
You like you like practical effects in Catwoman. That's what you like.
Practical effects was more. This is definitely a 3 for me. It wasn't a good movie. Like I think even a 3, I think might be.
Yeah, I couldn't even enjoy it because of how the cuts were. Mm-hmm. Like even I told you in the beginning when they have where young Michael's talking to young Milo, and it's a weird edit that doesn't really like the way the editing of they start the conversation in one part of the institution and end up in a different part. It's just so weird.
And I know earlier I compared it to 90s movies, but there were really good 90s. Like this is worse than like Blade 1 and 2 is better than this. I still think Blade 3 might be worse than this. Blade
Dang.
3 really hurt me.
With Ryan Reynolds?
He's one of the reasons why I hate that
I
movie.
know.
This is better than X-Men Last Stand. I hated that movie. So it is going to be interesting to go back and revisit some of these movies whenever we do the What's It Really That Bad, because I have strong feelings about some of these that I'm like, I don't ever want to watch it again. We'll review this one again in about 3 years and say it wasn't really that bad. I think it's time for us to revisit something like Captain Marvel, which was like one of your favorite movies of all time. And I can't even remember. Actually, I can't remember.
Honestly, that's one of the few Marvel movies I don't think I've ever rewatched. Like I even rewatched a lot of the Ant-Mans.
I've seen it one time and
in theaters. I don't think I've ever.
It's just one that got so much hate before the movie actually came out. And to go back and rewatch it now, I think would be a different experience, right? I know it wasn't one of my favorites, like middle of the road, if that, middle of the road.
Yeah.
Blade 1 and 2, though. Blade 2 is a lot better than some of the MCU movies. It's freaking.
I'll be interested to see what happens with the MCU Blade once it comes out. How you would rank your Blade films with.
That's gonna be rough. We did do Was It Really That Bad? Howard the Duck.
That was
a lot of fun. And,
that was a lot of fun because I had never actually seen the movie, so it was really cool to go to watch it for the first time with Omar.
Interesting take. Captain Marvel is better than both Thor 1 and 2 and the Eternals.
Well, the Eternals
better than Thor 2. Yeah, I don't.
it's boring. It's just a meandering movie. It meanders through a plot.
I'll be honest, man. I've only seen Blade 3 one time when it was out in theaters. I'd like to go back and see it because I hated that movie.
Maybe we could do a Blade 3 wasn't really that bad.
Right. Because it may not. Remember, we let people vote. That was a lot of fun. We let people vote for. So whenever whenever the Marvel stuff is done, maybe we take a break and we do some of those. We'll let people vote again. And
before Kenobi comes out, and then we're reviewing Kenobi.
I thought you meant your dog.
Oh no, but we could review him
before he comes out.
But no, I mean, I'm gonna want to talk about me some Ewan McGregor. I'm super excited about that. I can't wait. We're gonna be switching from superheroes to a galaxy far, far away for a little bit, just so I can talk about Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor.
And Darth Maul better be in it.
Which is a trilogy I grew up on because it came obviously I was born in '85, so the original trilogy was not my thing.
Why are you aging yourself?
I was a teenager when the prequel came out.
Nobody needs to know you're older than me. Stop.
And I know. Well, I don't mind my age, unlike some people. I don't pretend.
I'm 1978. I don't pretend anything.
I true to my roots.
I'd say my age all the time. I don't care.
When I'm over 40. Anyways, so that is.
Everyone likes Captain Marvel. Yes. I'm sorry. Go ahead. That was her.
No, that was it.
You got. Go ahead.
I mean, yeah. I was to say that was Morbius. I'm sure there were some gifts we didn't use, but that's okay.
Dude, I had you covered, baby.
No, actually, yeah. Well, you didn't use this one.
Yeah, that was. Hold on a second.
The Oscars had Will Smith
10-year ban for violence. The Jared Leto 100-year ban for Morbius. I forgot to share that with you earlier today.
No, I saw it, and I also saw this one, which is
we haven't talked about it yet.
That's a good segue to talk about our next thing. Let me change our branding now.
Today. Look, and it's next to my beautiful Jason Aaron Thor omnibus. I gotta be really careful.
Oh my god, I want that so bad.
I'd rather have spilled
beer
on my on my computer than my omnibus, which is ridiculous because I could just buy this a lot cheaper than I can buy a new laptop.
I changed our background. So now you guys can kind of know what we're going to talk about next.
So we are going to be talking about Moon Knight episode 4. That's 8. 4.
Yes, because we've been doing it week by week, and we did already plan the Morbius thing, so we didn't want to leave you guys hanging and not do it.
We don't do that.
We have to talk about this past Wednesday's episode of Morbius. God bless.
Which to a lot of people was a game changer. So in case you don't want any spoilers, you don't want you don't want to know anything about the show, by all means, please, maybe put us on mute. Don't forget to smash that like button on the way out, please.
Yes.
Please. You come back anytime.
Anytime.
But we are going to be talking about, I'm going Just okay. Leo, we love you, buddy. You take care of yourself. Go read your book. Make sure it's a Morbius book or a Moon Knight book.
Yeah, keep it in the same vein theme of what we're going.
Yes. All right. So Moon Knight episode 4. Spoilers. Everybody warned. Everybody warned.
Everybody warned.
This episode. Right.
So this episode comes right on the heels of Khonshu getting imprisoned into his little stone figurine, and now Mark and Steven are just, and maybe a third personality, are just Mark and Steven with no Moon Knight powers, which means no super strength, no healing powers, so they're very vulnerable. And of course, after the events of what Khonshu had done by inhabiting his body to turn the stars so that they could see what the constellations like 2,000 years ago, which I think I've read something about why did they just call an astrologer, like who could look it up. And I thought, yeah, that's not a bad idea either. But this is more effective for the plot, I guess, to move it along.
And special effects.
Yeah, special effects. It's really cool. So, of course, this knocks Steven Mark out. And then you see some of these Egyptian, bad guys, I guess, who are coming for Layla, and they're coming after them, and Layla has to use her wits because she's trying to drag an unconscious Mark and save him. And meanwhile, she's using her flares, and very much reminiscent some scenes that you've seen Jurassic Park. She's flaring it up a lot in this episode with to distract people. And so they manages to escape these bad guys, and they end up going to the location of the tomb, which of course there's a camp outside of the entrance, which means that Harrow and his guys are already there, because keep in mind they already have the answers they need, so they know how to get into the tomb. So his guys are already in there. She starts looking for supplies. Of course, during this whole time, Steven does decide to tell her about why Mark kind of left her and was being so cagey, talking about how Khonshu wants her as his next avatar. So
astronomer. An astronomer.
I'm sorry, astronomer, whatever. Someone, I've had a little bit of beer.
Potato.
It's an hour into this already. I had to talk Morbius first, so you'll forgive me.
She killed it.
So they so Mark's trying to take control of the body, but obviously Steven has control. So they are getting stronger in their ability to control the body. And it's clear that Steven definitely has a crush on Layla. And once they get to the dig site, they're looking around for supplies, and he kisses Layla, which is it's weird because it's Mark's body. She's attracted to the man. So whether it's whose mind is she attracted to, I don't know. But it's the same good-looking dude. It's still Oscar Isaac at the end of the day, so it doesn't matter. So they share a really passionate kiss, and then they go into the tombs, and there are 6 different paths they could take. And so they begin their way down one path, and they start to hear some screaming and some shooting. And so obviously them and Harrow's crew, they're not alone in this tomb. Something else is in the tomb. And so it kind of goes into a Indiana Jones type of a little adventure where they're going through the tomb, and they come upon some very fresh body parts and mummification process. So it looks like someone's actually mummifying or beginning the process of mummifying maybe some of Harrow's crew. And of course, they're trying to find a way out of this area with the mummification. And this weird, I guess, temple guard that's a mummy itself, if you will, or some undead creature, comes in with one of Harrow's guys. He slaps him on the table. Steven's up here. Layla's down there hiding from them. And you see him, not see it, but he goes and he kind of guts him and starts taking out his parts. And this is probably the most graphic I think we've seen a Marvel movie get in terms of that kind of stuff happening. And so I got a lot of mummy vibes. I don't know if anyone else did when they were watching this. Because even her hair and everything, she looks a little bit like Rachel Weisz in the early mummies with the curly hair and all that stuff. So of course, this results in a chase scene with this mummy creature, and some really cool effects where he's climbing onto the bottom of this, second level, and Steven's trying to escape him. And then, of course, Layla uses her flare to distract him, and he goes, "Run and I'll find you," and she runs away. The creature follows her. Steven goes out the exit that they're supposed to go out of. And as she's trying to escape the creature, she comes to this one part where it's too large for her to run across. So she has to kind of walk the ledge, and she thinks she makes it. But of course, you get a really cool jump scare of this creature grabbing her, and she tries to come out, and he grabs her again in the darkness, which is that I was like, "Did they just kill her?" It was a really cool scene. I enjoyed it quite a lot. And of course, she uses this flare. She's a very resourceful girl. Uses the flare and sticks it in the creature's eye, and manages to throw him over the ledge. And of course, she ends up on the other side, and Harrow comes out, and he starts having a conversation with her about her father and asking Mark what happened to her father. And of course, I'm assuming this is going to lead us down the path it leads to next, about finding out about her father's death and how it relates to Mark. Meanwhile, Steven is finding the entrance, the actual tomb that Amit should be hidden in, and he comes to find out, obviously they realize that her last avatar must have been a pharaoh or someone very rich, very powerful, who would have the means to create something like this. Come to find out, it's Alexander the Great's pyramid, which I had to look this up because I didn't realize Alexander the Great considered himself a pharaoh of sorts, but I guess he did. And so he is in the tomb. He's able to open the tomb, and he has to go into, he's trying to look for it, and where would a grave robber not look? In the actual gullet of the mummy. And so he has to dig into the remains of Alexander the Great, with, of course, Mark coaching him on the side, getting there nice and deep, and he gets down in there and he picks out Amit's stone figurine. And then, of course, Layla shows up, and she confronts him, essentially Mark, and Steven lets Mark take over in this instant about the death of her father. And we come to realize that while he did not kill her father, he also was responsible for bringing the men to the site where her father was killed, because the men did kill him. And that's also where we learned is where he also almost died before Khonshu saves him. And then, of course, they need to escape, but Harrow's men have found them, and Mark ends up getting shot twice by Harrow right in the chest, because he knows that he is not Moon Knight now. He has no healing powers, and he falls into the gross tomb water that's probably been sitting there for God knows how long. And we get this kind of surreal moment where we think he's dying, going to some afterlife, and you think he's going to start seeing Khonshu or something's going to happen. And instead, we cut to it looks like a TV show. That the aspect ratio changes, obviously, now to what we'd assume would be like a 90s, early 80s TV show. And it's a young boy and an explorer, and they're looking for some lost Aztec, gold or something like that. And we come to find out the explorer's name is Dr. Stephen Grant. Weird. And then as it pans out, we realize this is on a TV. It is on a TV in what looks like some mental institution. It's all white. There are other people there. There are some orderlies that we see are also some of Harrow's men. We also see Crawley. I think I have that GIF here.
I got you. You keep talking.
Okay. We also see Crawley, who was the man in the gold statue in the earlier episodes. But now we see him as the guy doling out the bingo. We also get to see, I think, one of the ladies who works at the museum, the blonde hair lady. She's clutching a stuffed animal of a scarab. And then, we'll get to that one in a second. And then
I was looking for a blonde haired lady.
Oh, I didn't get those. I didn't get all of them.
Oh, okay.
And then we see just the ones I could find. And then we see a lady drawing a picture of some type of a falcon or raven with a skull head, much like Khonshu. And then we get this. Then we finally are panned to seeing Mark Spector, Stephen Grant, in a wheelchair, attached to it with a chain, with restraints similar to what he had on his bed in the beginning of the season. Mm-hmm. And he's kind of sitting there. He's half in and out, dazed. You see that orderly version of Layla, and she kind of steals his bingo card because he got bingo, and she promises to share the prize with him and runs away. And then he starts to, like, he's trying to formalize words and figure out where he is. And then he's wheeled into the room of a doctor who, come to find out, is actually Arthur Harrow. And he talks about having his own issues and how we have to separate reality from our imagination and what's happening. And of course, come to find out, is this reality? Is this really all in Mark's head? And everyone who's ever read the Jeff Lemire comic book will realize this is a very, very familiar storyline. And so he sends the orderlies in to kind of constrain him because, of course, this Mark Spector, Stephen Strange character gets upset. He sends in 2 orderlies to restrain him. Of course, he's able to get away from them and beat them up. And then he's running down the hall, and he goes into the room where there's a sarcophagus that's moving, and so he's trying to get out. And the lid is removed, and another version of him steps out, and it's Stephen. And so we now have Stephen and we have Mark in separate bodies, and they have a really nice moment where they're actually embraced, which, given that up to this point they've been fighting with each other the whole time. Nope, not that one. This one right here. They're happy to see each other because he's like, do you remember getting shot by Harrow? Yeah, I remember getting shot by Harrow. And fun fact, it's actually Oscar Isaac's brother. He does all the stunt double work for Oscar Isaac. So on all these scenes where you might see at the roundabout, it's actually his brother, which is really cool. So they probably look alike. So, yep, that's a good thing.
That's our fun fact picture.
So they realize they have to find a way out of wherever they're at. They go running down the hall. They stop in front of a sarcophagus. It looks like it's about to open. And then they turn around.
Don't open it.
Don't open it. They turn around. And did I forget to add this overlay? Because I'll be so mad.
I got you.
I did. No. Here it is.
You found it.
He found. No. And then they see this, which is the goddess Tararet, which we had seen. Omar showed the clip earlier.
I got it again.
Yes.
I'm in charge.
The beginning of the show, where Stephen has a bunch of stuffed Tarwets, which I now want one because they are super cute. And you see that end scene of both Stephen and Mark screaming, and that is the end of the episode. That's pretty fast, but that's really just that's what happens. We went from being in some type of a mummy archaeology expedition, and we just flipped the script, and now we're not sure what's real, what's fake. And hey, Kyle.
What's up, Kyle? How you doing, buddy?
And we are now in a mental institution, or are we? Because there's also a hippo Egyptian goddess hanging out there too.
Yep. The lady drawing Khonshu was the one who made the fake passport. All right, so let's talk about this episode really quick.
Yes, let's talk about
it. Okay. Interesting that they went this route, right? It's not like it's happened before. It's not unique. They've done it in TV shows before. Somebody mentioned Legion. I always think of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Doctor Who did it. So it's not a unique twist in that way. If you had read the comic and you see this, you immediately think of Jeff Lemire's run, which is exactly what you said, because he did the exact same things. So I wish they had left it at the cliffhanger of him with the doctor instead of him going around and getting his different personality. Like, but then again, that goes back to I think this show was moving pretty slow compared to the other MCU. Like, usually by episode 3, you kind of get an idea of what these shows are going to be like, what the tone of the show. And it felt like this one was just moving a lot slower. I could have used less of episode 2 and more of this particular episode. Maybe this could have been, the ending of episode 3 with him just realizing that he's in an insane asylum or wherever he is, right? I think that could have worked. But then they decided to go a little bit further because we only have 2 more episodes left. and I still don't know what the heck is gonna happen. I guess Ethan Hawke is the bad guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like he's obviously the bad guy. So what's gonna happen next? I don't know. I like this episode. I like where it's gonna go. It's different than all the other MCU shows for sure. Yeah. Was I surprised? Probably not, because I was kind of half expecting it to happen because of, unfortunately reading comics.
Yeah.
Or fortunately reading comics. But so I'm glad they're going this route. That way people that have not read the comics are obviously like, what the hell's happening?
Yes.
What is going on? Why is there a talking hippo? Was any of that real? I like that. I like making people
think about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like that too. I do wish that it happened. It should have been episode 3 where this happened instead of 4, because now we only have 2 episodes left. But now we're not we've spent 4 episodes getting to this point. 3.5 episodes, right? Getting to this point, but we only have now 2.5 episodes, because we had half of this episode and 2 full episodes to figure out what this all is. Because I know in the comic, Khonshu's the one kind of playing around with Mark's mind so he can take control of the body, right? So is this Arthur Harrow taking over his mind? Is that something he can even do?
Or is this something that is just in his mind? Remember, what was it, Sherlock, that has his library? Mind Palace. Thank you. Is that his version of a mind, which would be a pretty unique thing for a superhero?
Let me answer. When you get shot, you get what happens. Go ahead.
Yeah, I like that. Let me answer this question really quick. What are the best graphic novels to offer more text and graphic illustrations? My dude, you are looking at anything from the Silver Age. Believe me, you will get your money's worth. It's like you're paying per word. It's insane how much.
Very wordy.
Sometimes overdone. But if anything by Alan Moore, anything by Roy Thomas. Roy Thomas, I think at one time was getting paid by the word, it seems like. Alan Moore is very long-winded, but every piece of his dialogue is just beautiful poetry. With the exception of Lost Girls, because that's just really weird. Maybe his 80s and 90s stuff is what I'm talking about mainly. But yeah, if you're looking for wordy, people like that, good wordy. So it's called Moon Knight, but we have seen him for 4 to 5 minutes. Thank you so much. My other gripe with this show.
Yeah.
And
I'm hoping
why didn't we get a full episode of him just
being Moon Knight
and taking names, and then
it's not like the costume it's not like it was impossible to create and put on, I'm assuming. It's not like it's all CGI and they had to cut budget. So I'm not quite sure where we were going with that. We had enough budget to keep putting Khonshu in there as a figure just hanging around. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what they're going to do with the next 2 episodes now.
Yeah. I think I wanted to like it. I watched it twice to try to catch Easter eggs and things like that.
The show or the episode?
This particular, I watch every episode twice. Once while I'm editing, and then once I can actually pay attention 100%. But yeah, I don't know. It's just not clicking with me. And I wanted to, because I like Moon Knight, the comic. I think they could he's got a lot of good runs. And the character is really interesting. He's unique. But I feel like they wasted more time on, let's make it, like I said, my issue with it since the first episode, let's make it like that Disney fun type of MCU stories that we've seen over and over. That to me, let's leave that for Spider-Man. We don't need every character to be a quippy type of character.
Yeah.
So I don't know. What about you, though? More importantly, you gave us a good synopsis. What did you think of this particular episode compared to the rest? What do you think of the show so far?
Well, I didn't know, since we were already 4 episodes in, I really wasn't expecting us to go this route because we only have 2 episodes left. But at the same time, we only have 2 episodes left, and they were already at the tomb. So I thought something had to happen, because obviously we can't get to the big showdown with the tomb and then what are we going to do for 2 episodes? That makes no sense. So I enjoyed the twist, because I just wish it happened sooner in the show, because I like the idea of playing with this twist and what's real and what's not real, because obviously Stephen and Mark's mind is broken, And that's that's been the theme throughout the entire thing. Is even, you know, Arthur's character, he's a broken person, and so he can't tell the difference between reality and what's real and what's not, because he has all these personalities inside of him. So I like that idea. I just wish they had done it sooner. I really enjoyed it.
Do you feel like they didn't want to, like, because they really could have done a whole episode in the hospital, right? And make you think, okay, what's going on? And then at the end of the episode reveal that, oh no, this is just his whatever mind powers, or no, he's not crazy. This is just an evil scheme. Do you feel like if they focused on a whole episode, people would lose interest, and that's why they didn't want to take a risk doing that? That's why they kind of rushed like the last few minutes of this episode?
Maybe, yeah, because it does seem rushed. I think that, honestly, I don't think it's because of that. I think it's because I think it really came down to just the overall editing of the story itself.
Okay.
And I think that's what, you know, those first 3 episodes, I think they could have just done away with some parts just to get to this sooner. I still could have seen like episode 3 being something similar to what we've seen in episode 4, where they would have still done half an episode because they want to keep going with this. Well, no, I take that back. If we were going to do this in episode 3, it would maybe be it would be half episode 3, half episode 4, with the end of episode 4, where they start to realize and come out of the idea that if this is the direction they're going, that he's all being played with, or it's all in his mind or whatever. Mm-hmm. So it would be like half of 2 episodes. And then that way 5 and 6 are devoted to the finale or climax of the series, because it is a limited series. So I guess there is no real talk of it coming back for another season. So for all intents and purposes, whatever story we have here has to be pseudo wrapped up. I mean, they could still contract Oscar Isaacs to come in and do other things, but that's it.
Robert. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know how I feel about the whole Layla, Mark, Steven love triangle dilly dally thing going on there. I'm not sure how I feel about it. It's a little weird, and that's fine, I guess. But it's understandable that all his personalities might have a crush on her, because that is still the same person at the end of the day, and she is who she is. So if one would fall in love with her, maybe, I guess. So that's okay. What I did enjoy most about this episode was just some of the jump scares and things like that we got inside the tomb. And
that felt like The Mummy. You were right.
Yeah, I really did enjoy that part. And I was hoping that's what more of like episode 3 should have been, right? And they should have really been diving into that aspect of the adventure. Because even in episode 3, we got a little bit of the fight scenes, but it would have been cool to see a little bit more. And we could have really dived into Moon Knight's skills and abilities, except for that we get that one climactic scene with the Midnight Man, and that's it. So we could have gotten more of that. And that's what I really liked about this episode. And I like that they're really playing into the fact that he has a third personality. It's clear that Jake does exist.
Yeah, that revelation, I guess, will come next episode.
Which again, that's going to be something that they have to wrap up real fast in like 2 episodes.
Yeah. Well, let's rate it and then talk about where they could use the character next.
Yeah.
For anybody that has seen it, and if you're watching this later, by all means, leave your rating in the comments section. This episode, not the series as a whole, what would you give this particular episode out of 10?
Me?
Of course. Ladies first.
Sure. I think I would, because this one I enjoyed a lot more than the other ones, so I would probably give this one like a 7.5 out of 10.
Okay. 6.5 for me. Thought it was better than episode. I kind of dug episode 1. I thought it was a pretty good start. Then it kind of dipped a little bit, and it started dipping a lot. And now I think we're gonna pick it back up. Let's see what happens. With the next 2 episodes. I'm sure. Anything. Yeah. It could be one of the greatest series ever. So yeah.
Yeah, I like Project Viking brought this up. They took too long with the wildly unnecessary Mark, Layla, Steve love pyramid when they should have been going Twin Peaks weird from earlier on. I agree.
They could have. They could have. I mean, they laid a lot of the things there, like the date, right? Like,
yes,
who asked for the date? They could.
Why does every Marvel character need a love interest? That's my question. Does it have to happen? Like, Hawkeye, she doesn't get one. But I mean, like... Yet. But why do they all need a love interest? They think that my sex will not watch a Marvel movie if there's not a love interest involved, because some of the best Marvel movies.
No. But I mean, maybe
she's in the comics. I know or Marlene's in the comics, and
she is.
They want to add that personal element, but Project Viking's right. They focus so much on that relationship.
Needed? No, he could have been a loner, and they really could have cut that part out. But then again, I mean, in this day and age, you probably would be called out for not having a female.
Oh, that's true. I didn't think about that.
You don't have a female lead, and I'm sure you're going to get called out for making the female lead just the love interest. But
she is just a love interest.
You can't please everybody at this day and age, and I absolutely agree. They could have completely cut her character out, stick to just making it him. That really would have shortened the amount of screen time, for Stephen Grant and Mark Spector, and showed more of Moon Knight, which would have been great.
Yeah, it would have been more action heavy. Which, let's face it, some of the best Marvel movies that get rated highly have some of the best action sequences, like Winter Soldier, for example. So I don't know why. Yeah.
Phenomenal. I love that movie. Let's see. Yay, it's the Fabulous Amanda and some middle-aged comic nerd in his space. Middle-aged?
Middle-aged.
Get out of here. Let's see. An 8 and a 7, a 7.5, 4 for this episode and the series. 9 out of 10. So that's pretty good for this.
Mm-hmm.
It's because Disney is trying to teach kids about sexuality. Didn't you hear? Oh, because of Turning Red? Is that what we're talking about?
No, I think it's... Never mind.
I was notably excited about Shang-Chi and Katie being best friends.
Though I thought by the end of the movie, I thought they were trying to make it a thing where they might be a thing. Maybe I'm crazy, or maybe I was reading too much into it, but I thought maybe by the end of the movie,
I think it was more of him.
Undertones of maybe there would be something more then. But I love Awkwafina, so I'm fine with it.
I don't. I think it was Trevor and Shang-Chi that were a thing. That's what I saw.
No, Trevor and the little animal, Morris.
The little butt creature.
Yeah,
that was saying middle age, man. We're not. We're gonna live forever.
I'm excited for next. I'm excited for next week. I want to see. I want to see more Oscar. I want to see more Moon Knight because I like the character and I like Oscar Isaac. I think that's a great combo.
He's great. Oscar Isaac is great.
Can we just talk about the physicality? He punched himself in the face in this episode. Come on. This guy, he's quite an actor. I mean, he's not just good on just the camera as far as acting, but he can do physical comedy. He really is a very well-rounded actor that I'm glad that we've discovered in this, last 10 years, because he's one that
you discovered.
Not me, but we.
Was he under a rock?
No, but that he's people have really taken to. I really enjoy him as an actor very much.
There's only one movie
that
I can think of that I did not enjoy him in.
Inside. Well, okay.
You know which one? No.
I don't think even he enjoys that.
Did we review that one? I can't remember how long we've been doing this. Did we review it?
We have not. We did Dark Phoenix.
Oh, man. We should do. Was it really that bad? Apocalypse. Oh,
we still have so many we can do, Omar. It's not,
We're not right. Dude, we got to do Punisher from the 90s. Can I volunteer Haley Steinfeld, love interest?
I'm sure a lot of people are like.
You want to get in line, James. Get in line. It can't be the only one. When you see Layla May Calloway.
Yes, 100%.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yes, her and the girl who played Mabel in Arrested Development. I also see a little bit of her, just a little bit, because of probably that hair.
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, definitely the girl from that's The Search Party, which is The After Party, which is a fantastic TV show. If you have not watched it on Apple TV Plus, no, it's on Apple TV
really good. That I don't think I don't think anybody's talked about. We haven't talked about. It was Severance. Have y'all seen that? It's on Apple Plus. Man, that was really good. I didn't like it's really slow. I didn't know Ben Stiller directed like those episodes. I was really shocked.
Well, he created the series.
Stiller did?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. I really enjoyed it. And I texted my brothers last week. I'm like, hey, you guys need to watch Severance. It's really good. I don't want to tell you what it's about because if you don't know what it's about, I think you'll enjoy it better. It's a little bit of a slow burn, but once the episodes pick up, man, I couldn't stop watching. I thought it was great.
It's an interesting premise. What would you do? Would you sever your mind so that you wouldn't have to remember?
Well, I know I was actually telling my wife about that because she came home stressed out, and I'm like, let me introduce you to the concept of severance. Like
it's just
the idea.
But what would happen to yourself that's constantly triggered through stress of your job? But would you? I guess
it depends on your kind of job, right? Like, what if you're a doctor, a surgeon? But
you never could go home and recover from it. You're constantly because you don't right when you walk out the door.
That's why you see that scene. But anyway, for people that haven't seen it,
anyway, it's a really cool show.
We should talk about it after hours. Sorry, I'm not super active in the chat, keeping up with the Twitter feed for the gay Super Bowl. I have to ask what the gay Super Bowl.
Yeah, me too. I don't know what that is.
But dude, no morning show. I've told Amanda about that. I really liked it. Both seasons.
I know. I don't know why. Maybe because it has too famous actors in it that I'm just like. This is just a vanity piece for Reese Witherspoon and Jennifer Aniston. It's just I'm trying to. I have to get around that, and then I'll watch it. That's why I won't watch Big Little Lies and stuff. I'm like, is this just a vanity piece?
Oh no! It's I feel the same. I see what you're saying. I feel the same way about some actors, but no, they kill it. Like Steve Carell's awesome in it. Like Steve Carell, and then there was an actress in season 2 I hadn't seen since the 90s. I was like, oh, I'm so glad she's still doing things. Is Morbius a Disney Plus thing, or it's in theaters right now?
It's in theaters, but barely. But barely, guys.
But barely. It's.
I mean, after 3 weeks, it's pretty much being relegated to 2 showings at most of the theaters here in Kentucky.
Hi guys, we'll rewatch this later. Seeing it's an hour in, not worried about spoilers for Morbius because we already talked about Morbius, so you can stay.
Yeah,
Big
so you
Little Lies was good.
Rewind it.
Before Amanda went on a break, you guys did comic book versus movie reviews.
We did.
Do you think you'll bring that back?
Yeah,
it's up to my co-host. She's the boss, man. I'm the co-host. I'm sorry.
We just have to schedule it where we have time. Where I'm limited, where I can only do Friday shows, and we have all these new movies. And now the pandemic's over, new things are actually.
We're not actually saying that, Amanda.
I know, but before we didn't have new movies coming out with regularity and things like that. But now that we do, it's getting harder to mix in some of our was it really that bad stuff. But we're gonna try. Because I do enjoy those.
We're going to try. That's right. I had a lot of fun with those. Okay, I had to step away. Are you guys talking about Moon Knight?
Well, we did.
Not anymore. We gave it a rating.
We talked about Severance just now, unless you know. Oh, that is something that I have to watch because clearly Taika Waititi's a genius. It's on Amazon Prime.
Who's in it?
A lot of Taika Waititi's friends, actors that I don't know about by name, but when you see them, you're like
from New Zealand.
No, guys that are in other stuff like the one guy who plays the main pirate, he was Nigel, the tour guide got NPC in the Jumanji movies.
Oh my God.
The British dude.
I think I know what you're talking about, sadly. Okay, yes, exactly. I got you.
So, but it's supposed to be fantastic. It's on my list.
I got you. Okay.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
RuPaul's Drag Race finale. Thank you. I was like, what is the gay Super Bowl? Okay, so Alex Cole is saying that's.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought he was.
Okay, that's what I thought it was somebody else.
I thought he had some big role in it, though, not just directing some episodes. I thought he did something else with it.
I recognize the boss on Flight of the Conchords. Okay, so a lot of those actors then.
Yes, exactly.
What We Do in the Shadows. Have you guys done a 90s TMNT? Was it really that bad? No, we haven't tackled that. Dude, the 90s and TMNT were great except for 3.
I thought we did a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. What? I think we did one. Or am I getting confused with Mario Brothers?
Are you doing another show online that I don't know about?
I thought I remember watching it.
I'm drinking a lot, but I don't remember.
Or was it one of the new ones with Megan Fox?
I mean, Megan Fox.
No, maybe we watched the new one, Megan Fox and Steven
No, I think you watched that for fun. You didn't.
No, I would not do
Why
that.
would I watch it? I haven't seen it.
I really think if anyone has watched our shows can go back.
First of all, Matthew, you call me middle age and now you're saying TMNT was so bad. 90s TMNT? You're talking about 1990s. I'll even give you TMNT 2 with Ninja Rap. And that was still a good movie. Ninja 3, TMNT 3, not so good at all. Turtles in Time, whatever the hell it was called. Not so good.
Ugh, I do not like that.
First, Melanie is launching her own secondary channel now. Amanda has a secret channel. Right, what's going on? Must be, I am the common denominator, I think. Yeah, I don't think we did, Amanda. I think you're...
Why would I watch that, though? It does not make sense.
The CGI TMNT movie wasn't bad either. That was the one with Buffy. 90s TMNT, Sam Rockwell's first movie. That's right. He was one of the foot soldiers in the first movie.
Oh, my goodness.
Amanda, you need to watch Generation X, then review it. Omar knows what I'm talking about. I do know. That was made for television, just like Morbius should have been. It's the cover for the Jason Arabin. Well, there's going to be 3 covers. Actually, my overview is coming out on Sunday. I've already recorded it. This is one of them. This is the... I don't want to say who this is, but this is a Thor. And then this is the other direct market cover by Joe Quesada. And then the third one is the Esad Ribic cover. They all have a different spine. And if you watch the video, I go through each of the covers. Megan Fox is surprisingly well read in multiple scientific fields. You know what's funny is a friend of mine who was a producer that I'm actually getting together with this weekend. I can't wait to see him. I haven't seen him in a couple of years. He's back in town. He's a producer for DreamWorks, and he was trying to get Megan Fox on a project, like a comedy project, and he said the same thing, that she's actually a pretty smart lady, like compared to the roles that she gets, that she's typecasted for.
Yeah, but then she's with Machine Gun Kelly, and
she looks. Are you looking up our TMNT review? How was it? What did we give it? Just out of curiosity.
I think I'm crazy. I really thought that
we did crazy. I can agree with that.
Dang, I really thought we did one.
Oh,
I don't know what I'm talking about.
You must have a secret channel I didn't know about. And
I know I don't, but that's weird. Okay.
Movies with Rubber Pizza Turtles were black. Matthew's killing me tonight. The best TMNT movie was Turtles Forever. Oh, which one was that? Omar censoring who Thor is, but keeping a chat message with the same info for a full. Did I?
I guess you did.
Message? The best Ninja Turtle is Venus. Hayden, you are dead to me. Venus de Milo is not. TMNT with Chris Evans as Casey Jones was good. I liked it. I thought it was good. Buffy was April O'Neil. Then I had a couple of voice actors that I enjoyed. What's going on in the movie world news? I saw that there's an interest for Something Is Killing the Children, which love that comic book. It was one of my favorite reads.
That's awesome. Who's
it's the 2 people. Oh my gosh, it's the 2 people that did something that I really hold on. I'll tell you who it is. It's 2 people who are taking an interest in it. Is the Dr. Sleep filmmakers. Dr. Sleep, have you seen Dr. Sleep?
Yes, I have.
Okay, so Dr. Sleep is like a good mixture of Stephen King meets X-Men.
Yeah.
Like it's great. I loved it. It's not that creepy. There's some creepy factors, but the 2 people that did that movie are talking about doing Something Is Killing Children, which would be phenomenal.
I feel like didn't we talk that?
Are you still looking for the Missing Ninja Turtles episode that we did?
No, but I'm trying to look up a more recent article on that. And the most recent thing I code was July 9th of 2021. So it just was curious.
That's a lot. That's
Let me talk about news that's come out recently, but that is really cool. I feel like we've talked about that, and I think because it's almost a year old, the news. And I haven't seen any
sorry, you weren't here in July.
Yeah, Ezra Miller. I don't know, but Ezra Miller news. Ezra Miller was arrested again.
Can we just have like another corner of our show where we dedicate it to Ezra Miller? Like every week we're talking about Ezra Miller.
I don't know.
Right, what did Ezra do now?
I don't know, but here's a history of everything you need to know about his arrest.
Yeah, that's exactly what I need to know about Ezra Miller's arrest.
He just So apparently he was arrested again.
I've been corrected. It's they.
Yeah, in Hawaii.
I have a
just
hard time
after his first arrest for second-degree assault. And keep in mind that Fantastic Beasts: Secrets of Dumbledore just come out, and he is, from what I've heard about the movie, the way his parts have been filmed, it wouldn't be impossible to cut him out. Let's just say that if they decide to really finish this up.
So this time around, they threw a chair.
He threw a chair
on purpose.
Yes, he struck a woman in the forehead.
Oh man, this is so hard.
Resulting in a half-inch cut.
Pronouns.
She refused treatment for the injury, which I don't know about that. And they, what else did they do?
Wait. I know that the last people that were accusing him of something, they settled with WB, right?
Yeah, they got money for something.
Obviously, they got money.
They took away they dropped their charges.
Dude, this is insane.
So I don't know
about any publicity is good publicity, but
I don't know if this is the case though. I mean, between this and the Amber Heard case, Warner Brothers is in for a reckoning, I think.
What do you mean a reckoning?
Well, they're due for a reckoning regardless, because apparently Discovery is about to clean up their vertical real fast. Huh?
They're gonna clean house?
I don't know what they're gonna do, but they're gonna bring a Kevin Feige-like character in that is more concerned about
Kevin Feige is not a character. He's a real human being.
to fix the DC universe, and we'll see.
Oh man.
Yeah, I mean, Scott's just can't the Flash, which would really suck for poor Michael Keaton. This is supposed to be his comeback.
Okay, first of all, I don't think he's hurting for money.
I know.
It's Michael Keaton. It's not like he remembered being in that movie. I think, why don't they just get the kid that played him in the TV show?
That's what Raphael says. Bring Grant Gustin.
Right, that guy, right? Why don't they just get that guy to play him?
Yeah, why not? Who says TV actors can't be movie actors?
All right. All I'm gonna say is hashtag restore the Snyderverse. Can we I guess we can't restore the Snyderverse now without Ezra.
No, you can't. Or without
Torsten. The pronoun they is confusing when talking about one person in a two-person fight assault. Without that's what I was just saying. It is difficult to carry that conversation because you're talking about attacking two people the last time, and it got a little bit confusing when we said they got attacked when you throw Ezra Miller in there. Yeah. But keep in mind, I'm a man in my 40s, so I was
just enjoying I'm laughing at Tap's logic that maybe Ezra's practicing Expelliarmus.
Dude, what if this is nothing but a huge
method acting?
No, don't say method acting. But they're setting up Ezra to be Professor Zoom, the Reverse Flash. He's a super villain, and that's why they're doing it. This is nothing but a huge promotion for the Reverse Flash, which you only can find out how that all happens in Flashpoint or whatever the hell the movie's called, The Flash, whatever. What happened to Amber Heard? Oh man, we talked.
I was just saying everything that's been. I mean, I don't want to get into the trial too much. There's a lot to pick through with the Amber Heard Johnny Depp trial. A lot of things have come to light. I still don't know how this is going to take Paul Bettany apparently doing cocaine, but because these text messages come to light, we all now know he does it.
I just assume everybody in Hollywood did.
But I'm sure Disney didn't want that to come to light about Vision, though. To be fair, they could let White Vision go off and we would never know he was that.
Bill Murray is Jay Garrett. What's funny is I just read that Bill Murray now is in trouble for being Bill Murray.
Something happened on set of a movie on Aziz Ansari's directorial debut, and they've shut down production. And apparently he's going to do with Bill Murray. Things are just not looking good, guys.
The WB, I'm sure they're scratching their head going okay, what are we going to do?
At this point, how can they? I know it's going to be a whole year now until that movie's released because they already pushed back the release date.
Flash or Aquaman?
The Flash.
Flash is coming out the day, in the anniversary of Batman 1989. That's what we figured out the last time. That is the date. If they
maybe we have enough far apart and they can keep this kid from doing anything between now and then,
What the hell are they gonna do? Lock
I don't
them
know,
up?
because he needs to promote it, right? So I know questions are going to come up.
No. When things like that happen, actors do not go out and promote movies. Like when people get arrested, you don't see the actors going out to like.
No, they do though, because I read. So obviously, you know, West Side Story came out, right? And Ansel Engelhart, I probably mispronounced his name, but I don't care. He was accused of sexual assault, sexual harassment of a girl underage.
That was the wrong time to do that hand signal.
Yeah.
I was talking to freaking Hayden. Thanks, Hayden. Go ahead.
So I recently read an article with Rachel Zegler, who played Maria in West Side Story, and she said one of the things that was the most aggravating thing is that because she's a woman, they would ask her how she felt about these charges brought on her co-star, which have nothing to do with her. It's not her charges, nothing to do with her. And she said in some instances they were brought up in press conferences where that said person is sitting in the room next to her, and they bring these up to her and asking her to answer the question, and she got frustrated. So yeah, they'll still bring them out. Like they didn't have Ansel still promoted the film, even though he had all this stuff surrounding it with what's going on in his personal life with sexual assault charges and stuff. So no, they will still do it.
Okay. Matt, okay, so that is true. Matt just reminded me of something.
That's true.
When Hugh Grant went on Jay Leno after he got arrested for picking up.
And boy, wasn't he just charming. Don't we all remember that awkward Hugh Grant being so charming about prostitutes?
He's British. He gets a pass. He was confused. I didn't know it was a hooker. I just thought a woman needed a ride home.
Yeah.
I would use that excuse. I had no idea. When Johnny talked about Amber doing a dump, bet she was.
That was it.
I'm just glad that he disowned Kentucky. Like he never claims he's from Kentucky.
I really thought it was the whole. There's the audio of her yelling at him and calling him like weak for, you know, I didn't hit you or I didn't punch you, I hit you, or what. I'm like, what's the difference between the two? So, anyways, suffice to say, yes, they'll still throw out people to do these things, even if they have these negative things going on.
Also true. Okay, so
no, agreed. Yes,
bad thing. Certainly not abusing a partner.
Exactly.
But like I
in
said,
the 90s.
I don't know if like I said, I don't know Ezra Miller is going to go out there and promote the Flash. Like I don't think that's going to.
In a year, he could if he doesn't do anything between now and a year. But I don't know. Again, I don't know.
All I know. I mean, at this point, maybe scrapping the move. God, that would suck though. Okay, so here's Hayden's thinking. It's better to. It's probably better to scrap the Flash than replace Ezra because it's going to cost so much more, basically, to reshoot an entire movie. It's already wrapped.
But then
but then people would want to see that, and then like the restore of the Snyderverse, right? Like they'll want to see that movie. Because
isn't Ben Affleck still supposed to be making an appearance in this film?
That's supposed to be Ben Affleck's final role.
The new Supergirl. I mean, there's a lot of stuff happening in this movie that I guess if they could just focus on Michael Keaton coming back and he be the only thing, like one of the big draws, and that's the guy like. You know, if you start seeing that as the main draw, I could see maybe them still going on with the movie. And when it comes time to promoting it, we focus on all the ancillary characters. Pay Ben Affleck some money and make him get on that press tour bit, buddy, and make him do some press junkets. Just do it. Dude, make it the two Batmans. Make it like the two Batmans.
And I know Ben Affleck said something really, really stupid that
he has in the past said a lot of stupid things too.
But I mean, when I heard him talk. When I heard him talking about, you know, the like driving him to the point of depression was writing that Batman script and making that Batman movie drove him to almost the point of like, you know, breaking him. Yes. Now, of course, this is around the same time that he blamed his wife for his drinking, which I mean, you got to take responsibility, man. You're a grown ass man. You got to take responsibility on your for some of the things. Own up to it. People look up to you. You can't be saying shit like that. You can't be saying it's so-and-so's fault. That's like one of my biggest pet peeves, like people that point fingers at others and blaming them. Take responsibility. It would be interesting to see him promote the thing, the Flash movie, but I mean, he's just been so heartbroken by that role.
Yeah, I know. It'd be hard to bring him back.
You know.
PTSD. Matt, doesn't Ezra Miller have a big role in the current Fantastic Beasts movie?
Yeah, that's what we were talking about.
So he did, but I haven't seen Secrets of Dumbledore, but from my understanding, so I'm just going to wait till it comes out on HBO Max in 45 days. To my understanding, at this point, these movies have relegated even the main character, which is supposed to be Newt Scamander, to co-leads, if not secondary, to Dumbledore and Grindelwald. And even they've clarified the ancestry of... Am I spoiling this movie for anyone? I might be spoiling Secrets of Dumbledore for anyone who is really interested and have not seen it. I probably will spoil it for you, but I spoiled it for myself because I'm a huge Harry Potter fan. But
what's the name of the Secrets of what?
Of Dumbledore.
Oh my God! I can't spell. How do you spell Dumbledore?
They clarified the ancestry of his character. So in the last film, in The Crimes of Grindelwald, had revealed to his character, which I forget his name, that he is related to Dumbledore. So everyone thought he was Dumbledore's brother.
Ezra Miller's Dumbledore's brother?
Yes, but then we're like, you just
completely ruined Dumbledore. Apologies.
Completely ruined all of the
Amanda.
Why would you ruin the canon of everything that came before us? Well, in Secrets of Dumbledore, I guess we find out he's not actually his brother. He's more like a nephew. He's actually Aberforth, which is Dumbledore's brother, that you see in Deathly Hallows, etc. He's actually Aberforth's son, illegitimate son, with a human woman, I guess. And there we go. So there's...
I'm not laughing at your synopsis. I'm just laughing at Phil.
Did he make her sit through his Daredevil? Because then they beat him.
It was her fault. She made him sit through Electra 447 times. Dude, did we do Electra for... Was it really that bad? I know we did Daredevil, and I was like, I think I may want to see Electra.
I don't... Again, I'm going to look back, because apparently my memory's terrible.
Well, you thought we did a damn Ninja Turtles movie review, and we did not.
Yeah.
This tree drove me to unsub from NMC Patreon. LOK. What's up, David?
What?
I don't know. They could replace Ezra Miller with Barry Keoghan.
Dang. No, they kind of look like... You could probably make
Barry Keoghan?
The guy who played Druig in the Eternals and also plays the new Joker.
Oh, actually, they kind of look alike. I'll be honest. Yeah. They kind of look the same.
Yes. So, anyways, but yeah, I don't think that when it comes to the Fantastic Beasts movie at this point, like, even from what I've read, his character, like, he was supposed to be some important part of the storyline, but he's kind of been sidelined as like a henchman for Grindelwald, so he has no importance anymore.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so they're kind of getting rid of the character, maybe?
Yes, exactly. But there's other news to be had, of course. Speaking of Sony, because we can't get enough of Sony breaking our hearts with Spider-Man news, they have announced they are pushing the Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse Part 1 all the way back to 2023.
So Spider-Verse, Madam Web, what else? Craven
probably, yeah, because they're filming Craven now, so it'll come out in 2023.
And Keegan just got arrested in Ireland.
Yeah, but that was not as bad. I guess it was like a it was something else entirely.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I guess I don't know.
What these movies need is a talking CGI dragon. Yes! Omar's only got a few more. What? Until he ages out and Amanda gets a new co-host. What is happening? What are you talking about? You're talking about Eddie Murphy. Restore the Mulan Eddie Murphy cut. I remember when I started that hashtag movement. And I still haven't seen that movie.
You haven't seen it. But yeah, so they moved it back. It was supposed to come out October 7th of this year, which is coincidentally my daughter's birthday. My oldest.
What movie was supposed to come
out? Spider-Verse 2, Part 1.
Oh,
however, now it's not coming out till June, so almost an entire year later. Half a year later.
An Irishman got drunk and passed out in Ireland. Shocking.
Yeah, it was public drunkenness. It wasn't like he attacked anyone or anything. It was just like,
okay,
college kids.
But he got arrested for that.
He did. Yeah, because public drunkenness is never a good thing.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so that's been delayed. That means it's delayed part 2 to 2024. I'm assuming the reason they had to delay it till June is because of whatever other properties they have coming out, like Craven.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Madam Web would come out before this because I don't even know if they've started shooting. We've just keep getting the announcements of casting, but I don't even know if they've shot something yet. Craven, at least we know, is being filmed because we've seen.
You know what? That's Sony's thing. They announced the Sinister Six movie in the past.
Yeah, I know. They just do things like that make no sense to me. What else? 1883, or I mean, Wonder Twins.
You had me at 1883. Continue.
Yeah,
I haven't seen it yet, so I need to.
Yes. So if you guys are a fan of Yellowstone and you've watched the prequel show 1883, you will be happy to learn that Isabel May, who played the Elsa Dutton, the main character of 1883, the daughter of the original John Dutton, played by Tim McGraw.
Okay.
Yes, she will be playing one of the Wonder Twins. That is coming back, and it is going to be on HBO Max, and she is playing Jaina, and then Zan is being played by KJ Apa, and he is from the Riverdale series, if you all remember or are fans of that, which I've never really watched it, but we have our Wonder Twins now. So it looks like that's going to be a thing on HBO Max in a live action series. Yes, it is very good. I enjoy it.
I haven't seen it yet. I love Yellowstone, but so that's up on the list. It
was super grim. It makes me really thankful I did not have to live in that era.
Me too. Outer Range. I've been wanting to check that out too. Is that the one with Thanos, Brolin? Is he in Outer Range?
Yes, I think so.
I think it's one of the series that's out right now.
Yeah.
I've watched a few episodes of 1883. She was really good. No Gleek, we riot. 1883 shows how bad the West was.
I definitely am glad I didn't have to go be a pioneer to the Western territories, and I'll tell you that much.
Okay.
I'm happy to be living in the century I am living in.
I'm okay with this. I don't think I could have a YouTube show back in 18.
No, you definitely, yeah. You'd be using your hands a lot more. You wouldn't be reading as much.
Gunsuit Amanda would have crushed it in the Old West.
Yeah, Gunsuit Amanda's not wearing gunsuit for a while until she loses his baby weight, but that's fine. But it is that I would hope so.
The offer on Paramount Plus on April 28th. It's about the development and production of The Godfather. Ooh, I'm interested in that.
Yeah, that's coming out. Paramount Plus. We bought it. We bought it so that we could watch 1883 and so we could watch the Halo series, which I don't know if anyone else is watching the Halo series, but I don't like that they essentially just rewritten the entire first Halo. To me, Master Chief is not supposed to take his helmet off, and boy, does he never have the dang thing on.
No, you're thinking of the Mandalorian. The Mandalorian is not supposed to take his helmet off.
Well, but in the Halo, I know it's first-person shooter, but in the Halo, is he ever taking his helmet off?
Wait a minute, Master Chief, are you spoiling this for me? Is Master Chief in?
I'm just saying. There's a lot of. They've completely changed what the origin stories of Halo, like there's some of that you see the glimmers of the origin of Halo, but they've changed a lot of the backstory. They've added more to it. It is trash. Yeah, it's trash. I know that's trash in Spanish. I know that.
Wait, weren't the Wonder Twins Asian? I don't think so. I think they just had long, pointy ears.
No idea.
Maybe. Even in the comics, where's Rodeo Omar? Not tonight. Can't wait for 1932. So they are following it up, right? With another series?
Yes, they are. Yes. I'll be interested to see who they cast for that.
And what's up? I've missed everything so far. Love NMC. Haven't seen the movie. Looking forward to. Yes, Master Chief does not take his helmet off. Oh, so he does. Weird.
Yeah. So he's like more like the Mandalorian. So it was very off-putting just constantly see what's his name's face. But yeah, I don't know. Corey likes it. but I'm not exactly a fan of the show. Kind of boring. So,
okay.
Yeah. So Wonder Twins powers activate. That's happening, guys.
What is Wonder Twins power activate? Are we talking about a movie?
No, I don't know. Well, the Wonder Twins. It's a TV series that we just.
Where's my Green Lantern core?
No news about that. But talking about other stuff in development, Werewolf by Night Halloween special that the MCU is going to be putting out on Disney Plus, I believe, and they are currently filming it, and it has, what is his name? Gael Garcia Bernal, and he is playing the titular role, and they just casted what is her name? What is her name? Nina Price or Laura Donnelly, and she'll be playing Nina Price, or they thought she'd be playing Nina Price, but apparently she's actually be playing Elsa Bloodstone. So Laura Donnelly, I know her from The Nevers. That was a show on HBO Max that Joss Whedon did before everything kind of went afoot. So I don't think they're coming out with the next season, but it was a great show for what it's worth. The first season was really entertaining, and she was the lead character in it and was fantastic. And apparently she will be cast as Elsa Bloodstone in this Werewolf by Night special. So if you're wanting Elsa Bloodstone in the MCU, it looks like we'll be getting her.
But I have been wanting to see Elsa Bloodstone.
They're going to have to put get some dye and get her some red hair, but other than that, it'd be good.
I mean, she doesn't have to be a redhead, but
true. But I guess it can't hurt, right?
Right, for the people that like Elsa Bloodstone.
Exactly. What other news? Which is weird that they've this thing is apparently filming, but they haven't made an announcement of when it would air or if it's officially coming out. But apparently it's all been filming and everything like that. So I don't know if this is something they plan to try to drop on us like at D23 in September. Hey, guess what? We filmed this special and it's going to come out on October 31st. Just for all you cool cats and kittens out there.
Cool cats and kittens. What is the Guardians of the Galaxy come out?
Well, it's a holiday special, so it's going to come out, I think, in either November or December. The movie or the holiday special? I'm sorry.
The holiday special. David Gabriel told me if there's more Werewolf by Night after the Halloween special, we get an epic collection. All right. That sounds like a promise. That means everybody's going to go and buy that stuff. Have you guys talked about the Penguin show that will come out? They
mentioned that.
But have they given us an official date?
I don't know. I haven't heard any news on it. But as far as I know, nothing's been really said. Right now, it's all speculation. So we know they're going to do it, but I'm assuming that it's still in development, whereby we still have we need a script and some type of plot to go with it. They just want to do a whole show on Colin Farrell's Penguin. So right now they said it was an early development of 2021. So we might see it come out in 2023, but that's iffy at best. Because I think they maybe were waiting to see what the reception would be of The Batman, which just came out, right?
On HBO Max, yeah. We actually did a whole reaction video to the Thor trailer. That was a lot of fun. We did that on Tuesday, whenever they announced it.
And if you're wondering if they're going to do the cancer storyline so go ahead.
No, Monday. Sorry.
Monday, yes. But if you're wondering if they're going to do the cancer storyline, apparently there are some toys that have come out, and on the back of a toy, it actually describes her having cancer, like the story of Jane becoming Mighty Thor. So the toys ruin it again. If we were thinking they were going to go
the toy actually states that? That's interesting.
Yes. It says on the description for an online listing of a replica of the character's helmet, it says, suffering from cancer, astrophysicist and Thor's ex-girlfriend Jane Foster visited New Asgard, and her life was changed forever. Mysteriously, the broken pieces of Mjolnir, because that makes sense. New Asgard would be, that's where Mjolnir was broken, right? That's where he said, I could see our people living here. Mysteriously, the broken pieces of Mjolnir, the hammer of the thunder god, transformed into mighty Thor and gifted us two powers of Thor to battle threats, internal and external. Wielding Mjolnir herself, she became a godly protector, and a new hero was born. With the help of Thor, Valkyrie, and the Guardians of the Galaxy, the mighty Thor was faced by the powerful Gore, the God Butcher. With divine powers himself, Gore was driven to rid the universe of gods wherever he found them. Battling cancer in her human form and Gore in her godly form, Jane Foster was embroiled in an epic struggle with plenty of love and thunder. So basically, they're going to give you the whole plot.
Plenty of love and thunder.
What?
I know what that means.
So yeah, it looks like she must have developed that. Oh God, I hope they're not dropping it.
The toy really revealed.
Yeah, that's really big story. Like, I didn't know how she was going to get her powers. How was going to happen.
I'm not going to say anything about who's on the cover. Thanks a lot, Marvel.
You're not going to spoil it on the cover.
It doesn't say anything. It doesn't say anything about in the back of the book. I don't think. Hold on, let's see. A new hero picks up a hammer to become the goddess of thunder, but who is she? Yeah, it doesn't say who it is.
Yeah.
So it's really odd for the freaking toy to spoil that. That's really weird.
I agree. But that's all the news I have.
That's it? That's all you got?
Yeah, we're already at the 2-hour mark.
Hello. All right. So, yeah, everybody, thank you for joining us. It's a lot of fun. And so Love and Thunder will be rated mature audiences because it will have a lot of gore in it. I see what you did there, Tapsy Logic.
Nice.
Let's talk about some MK. Mortal Kombat? Because we talked about Moon Knight a little bit ago. We gave our...
Yes. So if you rewind, we'll get to touch base with that.
Yeah.
Yes, we've not seen those.
And she was, yeah. Everyone, thank you so much for joining us. Check us out on Patreon and Spreadshop. Great ways to support the channel. And go ahead, Amanda. Sign us off.
And then I guess we'll probably do Moon Knight episode 5 next week. So stay tuned for that. Let's see what happens with the mental institution storyline that we're working with right now. And let's see what goes from there. So thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. And remember to follow us on all of our social media channels at NeoMayCon. Remember to check us out on Patreon. If you want to support us for $1 a month or more, you can do some really cool things like mow my lawn if you want to, because I can always use that. So yeah, check us out on Patreon. And then of course, Spreadshop if you want some great near mint condition merchandise. And finally, if it's classy and cool, it must be near mint. Have a good night, good journey, and we will see you all. Well, some of you will see Omar tomorrow, but I will see you all next week.
Together.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.